What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Once again, thank you for clicking on the video, and before we continue with it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell for the notification so every time I post a video, you know to watch it. So, getting on with this video, I figured that with the last video of 5 tips I knew before lifting, or started lifting, I figured I'd make another one with the 5 beginner mistakes when working out. So, getting right into it, number 1. Think you need to lift as heavy as possible every single time, all the time. I knew when I first started, my background's kind of like circuit training, and then I went into bodybuilding. When I did that, I was trying to do everything as heavy as I could, kind of doing like the 5 to 8 rep max for like the same 3 to 4 sets. But that quickly fizzed away because I knew that it wasn't sustainable. At some point I was kind of plateauing because my form was going, and really just I wasn't really feeling the muscle contract and squeeze and all that good stuff. So that's when I went to the 4 sets of 10 to 12, and that kind of forces you to bring the weight down, focus on form, and then as you get more experience with the gym, progressive overload, you start getting to those heavier weights as time goes on. So it's one of the things that I usually see a lot, and like I said, I did it myself, but it kind of goes also with number 2 that I'm going to be talking about now. You need to go crazy all the time in the gym. Every time you work out, whether it be 5, 6, 7, 4 days a week, you need to go until you're basically on the floor. You're absolutely dead, you're absolutely tired. And that's another thing that's not really true. The new kind of trend, or not trend really, the new thing that's kind of been popping up more and more recently is the kind of a deload week or deload session, which is you're either taking away an intensifier, which is like a drop set, a superset, rest pause, or forced reps. That's an intensifier. Either you take one of those away, or you don't go to failure you take one failure set away, or you just kind of just minimize the amount of volume or the amount of sets, reps, something like that, so you give your body still the stimulus of working out, whether it doesn't matter what body part you're doing, but there's still some sort of rest and recovery that the body will go through, so you're not just always beating your body down. In the beginning, you can kind of get away with not doing that, but very soon you realize that you're going to have to start incorporating that into your training plan if you want to keep growing and gaining muscle and progressing with weights. Number 3, once again, I did this myself. I almost did this again a year ago, and I wouldn't really say I'm a beginner. I would say maybe intermediate at this point. You need to look up some sort of crazy split, and after 3 months, change a split, and just keep shocking the muscle and doing things like that just to increase the gains and make sure you're always progressing. And at the time, it seems like it makes sense, it seems smart, but in reality, some of the big pros who are Mr. Olympia or this and that, they've stuck to the same pro split, whatever you want to call it, of chest Monday, back Tuesday, legs Wednesday, arms or shoulders on Thursday, arms or shoulders on Friday. And that's obviously got them to a pro level and to a competitive bodybuilder. With that being said, that's not going to work for everybody. If you do a push-pull leg split, then, it doesn't really matter. Whatever works for you works for you. But there's at some point, there's part of you that needs to stick to a plan so you can see that progress and not be able to just have to change it every 2 months, 3 months. I know personally, I would go the bro split, like I mentioned, and then I would change it up and do like a push-pull legs, and then I would switch it up and do the push-pull legs, and then I'd add like a shoulder day on the 4th day, and then rest, and then repeat. Within a year, 10 months, something like that, I would just be changing it all the time just to change the muscle up, shock the muscle, and like I said, it's not really necessary. When I've stopped doing that and I kind of just looked at the weights, looked at the sets and reps, exercise selection, and just saw my progression throughout the months, I saw much better results. I was able to execute the reps better, the sets, and just overall just look better and feel better, which is what we all want. So that's my number 3. Number 4 is that people think it's not okay to ask questions, that you're going to be made fun of you're to feel embarrassed and just kind of be exiled from the community, which looking back now makes absolutely no freaking sense. The whole point of being in the gym, being this whole fitness world slash industry, whatever you want to call it, is you're constantly learning. Some pros now that, you know, all these things I watch or people watch on YouTube, all these pros who have been working on for 10, 15, 20 years are learning new things every single day from the younger population, from the new science article, from X, Y, and Z. And that's one thing that I think is really, it's kind of a shame that it's happened, because I mean, it's a common nature that you're afraid to ask somebody who's obviously more experienced in something than you. You don't want to be looked down upon or be like, oh, well, this guy's dumb, he doesn't know something that's so simple in my mind, but he doesn't understand it yet because he's so new. But that's one thing that it's kind of a barrier you have to break. Just like if you're trying to make friends, you just have to make that first step and ask the question, because more times than not, I'd probably say 95% of the time, say you're asking some random guy in the gym about a question about how to do certain exercise, more times than not, they're going to show you. They're going to say if you need any help, and if you need anything out after, like any more questions. That's my number 4. Number 5 kind of goes back to that. Thinking that bodybuilding or fitness in general is just strictly individual, which if you look at it, you know, statistically at the sport, that's true, but to a certain extent. Like everything, it's individual, but the whole community is a community. So you're able to ask questions, you're able to talk to your peers about, you know, new things in the industry that have come up, and really like a second family, if you get really deep into it, is created. I know personally the last year after joining Signature Fitness in Belleville, New Jersey, I go with my dad all the time, and just if you go at the same time, you kind of see the same people, say what's up to the same people, the staff's there, you know, learn their name, how you doing, this and that, and then after over time, you start kind of making these relationships, especially if they're around your age. I know some guys, like I know like Delaney, Alex, Andre, these guys, Julio, one of my friends from down south in South Jersey, Nick, all these guys I met from the gym. Julio I knew from baseball, but I just knew who he was. The gym is really where we started talking and became friends. It's really one of those things that almost as if you can compare it to a sport, because in itself it is a sport. You learn about people's personalities, you really know how they deal with things, because we all know that the gym is kind of a stress reliever. It helps with people with coping, and it's one of those things that is kind of overlooked and misinterpreted in the beginning. Only once you kind of are in that industry, or in that world really, not industry, that you kind of realize that you see people talking in the distance, you think they just came together, and not that they're not going to want to talk to you. Everybody that I know, I've seen, is really open to just talk with anybody, work out with anybody, friends with anybody, and that's the one thing that I really, really, really love about this whole fitness world, fitness industry, whatever you want to call it. It's for everyone, no matter how advanced you want to get, how advanced you are, how strong, how whatever, small, tall, whatever it is, you are accepted into this world. That's really all I got to say about that. But these are the 5 beginner mistakes I see when people working out. There you go. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe once again down below. Hit that little bell for the notifications, and stay tuned for the next video.